Hi guys, it's Matt from Silderman Solutions. How are you? Hope you're doing well. In this episode, I'd like to talk to you about information overload, which I think is something that we all struggle with. So each day we're bombarded with tons of information. Some of it we do to ourselves, right? Because we go on social media and it's just a ton of information to take in. I want to talk about it in terms of learning. If you're trying to learn, if you're trying to really genuinely learn the information to make it useful and apply it to your life. So, as you know, if you've been watching this, I always ask viewers to reach out and to engage with me. And if you have any questions about blogging for creative entrepreneurs, or whether you before you purchase it or after, I always encourage people to reach out and engage. So, I had a conversation with Marvin the other day. I won't use his full name, and it was a very good conversation. And one of the things he said was that the ebook is a lot of information, and he's right. It's 150 pages of the ebook, and then it's 20 plus pages of worksheets. And so he's right. There is a lot of information, and when he said that, I answered him by basically saying, "Well, the publisher, always provides tremendous value. That's what their reputation is about. That's what Chris Do has started, and so." Yes, there's going to be a lot of information there. The other thing is, we wanted to make sure that it was valuable information in the sense that blogging has been around for a long time. And we wanted to make sure that whether you are new to blogging or whether you've been doing it for a while, anyone can buy this and really feel like it was money well spent and that they've learned a lot. So, yes, it is a lot of information. What I'd like to talk to you about, though, is, and Marvin was saying it's a lot to take in, and it is. And so my advice to him was about how to best tackle the guide. And basically, we set it up to help you learn better. And I'd like to talk about that in terms of the guide, but you can really apply that to anything in life. And so let's discuss that for a second. What I recommended to Marvin was that he read a couple of the chapters, and then naturally within the book, there's a page that comes up and it links to a worksheet. And so it basically says, okay, take a break and now apply what you've learned. And this is actually, learning specialists would call this chunking. And then when you go and it's a nickname, right? But when you go and then you complete a worksheet about what you've just read, the information you've just consumed, they call that chunk and chew, because you chew on it a little bit, right? And think about this. So you're saying, okay, that's enough information to take in for a minute. Now, if I genuinely want to learn this, I have to think about it. And learning specialists and learning psychologists tell us that two of the ways that we're going to learn something is what we call sense and meaning. So if something makes sense to you because it's been explained well, or in the guide we have examples, right? So that's one way to learn. Another way to learn is if you give it personal meaning. And so this is what the worksheet is for. We've designed the questions so that you can go through and say, okay, I've learned or I've read this information. How do I then take that and apply it to myself? How can I use it in my own life? And really, what's the point of just dumping all this information into your brain if you can't figure out a way to use it, or you can't make your business better or yourself better? And so we say take a break and go through the questions. The questions are carefully chosen. They're designed to pull out the most important aspects and to help you apply it to your own life. The other tip that I will give you is, we also know, if we're talking about learning, that it's actually beneficial to write out your answers. And actually, we know that handwriting and script, pardon me, I'm kind of geeking out on learning psychology. I have a background in education. But we know that if you handwrite your answers, it actually helps you learn better than, let's say, if you were to type them out, or if you didn't do anything at all, if you just thought about them. Because I won't get into the differences between typing and handwriting, but think about when you write something out. Your brain processes the information. You have to then put it into a somewhat coherent thought and then write it out in a sentence. And that act helps you remember moving forward. Okay. And so, not just for, let's say, the blogging kit, right? But for anything in life, let's say a big project. If you have a big project, they can seem very scary. Let's say you've decided to repaint your whole house. Okay. It can be very scary. It can be a daunting task. But if you break it down into painting one room at a time, or let's say one wall at a time, completing these little projects, chunking, uh, and then by the time you look up, you've completed the whole room, and then you can feel like you've accomplished something and you can move on. So that's completing projects. If we're talking about learning, once again, breaking things into smaller tasks so that your brain can actually absorb the information, apply it to yourself, and that it can benefit you going forward is called chunking. And it's very powerful. So even if you don't buy the blogging kit, and that's fine, you can, it's good. Pause from your daily activities, be reflective, think about the information that you've taken in, ask yourself questions, come up with your own worksheet, write down notes on your own to come up with a way to process, to think about the information that you've taken in, to then sort of dump out what's not relevant, and to really save and to hold on to the pieces of things that you know are most valuable and can help you going forward. So listen, I hope that was a helpful tip for you guys. Hope I didn't geek out too much on education, my education background. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. And once again, if you have any questions, I'm enjoying the conversations that I'm having, that I've had with people who have purchased the guide or people who want to know about it. So keep them coming. And hey, have a great week. Take care.